Hello, I'm Robin Grier, President of Catalyst Communications Technologies. The following is a presentation that I'm going to make at the International Wireless Communications Expo on September 29th of this year, 2021, as part of an overall presentation that the Project 25 Technology Interest Group is making. Specifically, we'll focus on a standards compliant solution for land mobile radio to long-term evolution interworking. If you don't know about Catalyst, let me just take a minute to tell you that for the last 25 years, Catalyst has been innovating in our commitment to advance public safety communications. We are a pioneer, and we have applied voice over IP technology to mission critical radio communications. We were the first to do that, to build what we call radio control over IP back in 1999 with a dispatch solution. Since then, we've continued with our leadership to provide multi-vendor standards-based solutions for interoperability and more recently for interworking, so that we have solutions for dispatch, incident command, interoperability, and now interworking. The subject of today's talk really focuses around 3 awards that we have from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Commerce, more specifically PSCR, to research, develop, and commercialize standards compliant LMR LTE interworking solutions. Everything that we do serves public safety, utility, energy, education, and government markets so that we can deliver enhanced access to mission critical radio communications. So today, the public safety as well as other mission critical communications agencies are at an inflection point. For those who have decided it's time to evaluate these different options that are now coming to be, whether it's FirstNet push-to-talk, Verizon push-to-talk responder, or some of the other LTE-based critical communications push-to-talk solutions. Whatever one of those you're looking at, you're really faced with another problem, the next problem, and that is, how are you going to get these new LTE smartphones that use mission critical push-to-talk to communicate with your existing LMR subscriber radios? The quick answer is interworking, and that's what we'll talk about here in this discussion today. About 4 years ago, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security realized that this was going to be an issue and began a project with the idea of providing interworking communications between P25 and other LMR radio systems with LTE subscribers who would be using the new standard mission critical push to talk. DHS issued a solicitation which Catalyst competed against and won to provide a feasibility study for DHS. And DHS specifically directed us to use a recently published report by Public Safety documenting its requirements for interworking. That report was documented and published by the National Public Safety Telecommunications Council. And so in our feasibility study, we mapped the requirements and the messages between different standards compliant systems. On the LTE side, we used the 3rd generation partnership project or 3G PPPs, MC-PTT standards. And on the LMR side, we looked primarily at TIA's Project 25 standards, but also other standards such as digital mobile radio, as well as proprietary systems. Through that first project that we did with DHS, what's called phase 1, we developed a solutions roadmap to solve this issue of interworking. DHS then issued a second solicitation. Again, we competed and won that contract, and that was to build prototypes for this interworking solution. Catalyst finished phase 2 earlier this year and was recently awarded a 3rd contract, a 3rd phase to the same project to commercialize the prototypes. And that was a contract from the Department of Commerce, PSCR. Through all of this work, the great benefit that we are providing is we are facilitating the transition to mission critical push to talk on LTE for current P25 and other systems. Let me tell you a little bit more about the project and where we are today. As we began studying the project during phase one in the feasibility study, we saw that the part of the standard, the 3GPP standard, that was most appropriate for what we were trying to get done is the use of what's called the client interface. And that was specified back in release 12 of the 3GPP standards. Release 17 has been completed, and so release 12 and MCPTT are reasonably mature. The standards for the client interface provide the essential features that are needed for push-to-talk interworking. And those capabilities, by using those capabilities and those messages that are specified in the client interface, what we realized was this was the fastest time to market, the fastest way to be able to provide solutions for public safety that wanted to be able to leverage different carriers' MCPTT service offerings, and most importantly, to be able to interwork with their existing LMR systems and to maintain their current operations. So over the last year or so, Catalyst has been conducting field demonstrations of first the prototypes and now the products as we are commercializing them. And as a result, what we have are standards compliant solutions that connect P25 LMR to MCPTT on a variety of carrier systems, whether that be AT&T's FirstNet, Verizon, other regional carriers in the US like Southern Link and those across the globe. You know, I want to emphasize that the approach that DHS had us take and what we've demonstrated the feasibility of creates a solution that is compliant with the MCPTT standard. It is not one of these proprietary solutions. One of the important takeaways from our work that I hope that you'll get from this presentation is that the capabilities that your organization will realize depend, first of all, on the features of your current land mobile radio system and how that radio system is connected to LTE for mission critical push to talk. On the left, I've listed the types of radio systems that are primarily used in the US, beginning with the gold standard, the P25 systems. On the right, I've shown 3 different ways to connect various radio systems to LTE. And that was really a big part of what our mission was how can we connect the most number of public safety and other critical communications agencies? How could we provide a wide variety of options for those agencies as to how they connected? So I'll start at the top. The top one is the most sophisticated way of connecting. That's using a wireline interface directly into the core of that radio system. That could even be a statewide radio system. In the case of P25, TIA has published the ISSI, CSSI standard, and we support that. But for other types of radio systems like DMR, there are also wireline interfaces into that core for multi-sites, multi-channels. The middle one here is another wireline interface, but that goes to a single channel. And so this is typically used with a conventional radio system, whereas the top one is typically used with a trunking system. Again, there's a TIA P25 standard called the digital fixed station interface. And so we were able to leverage that standard to connect MCPTT as well as using other standards, say for analog. The third and most flexible is over-the-air connection. We just use a mobile radio or a control station. And so in the case of P25, we have a very mature common air interface. Multiple vendors provide mobile radios that all operate using the same common air interface, as do other standards, and this works with proprietary systems as well, simply taking a mobile radio that uses that proprietary protocol over the air. The Catalyst has created an architecture that supports not only a variety of radio systems, but also an optional dispatch console. And that was an important part of the requirements that public safety documented in the National Public Safety Telecommunications Council report that we started with. So you see here in this diagram on the left, we've got a variety of different radio systems that can connect into this IP-based solution, the optional console. In the middle here is the connection into the MC PTT servers. And again, we elected to use the client interface, part of the standards, one of the two standards that the Third Generation Partnership Project provides, and then connecting in to the LTE system. So part of what PSCR has asked us to do is to get some feedback on the approach that we've taken, the capabilities that we're taking. And so we are actively beginning to take these solutions out to public safety and other organizations. I encourage you to be part of that process to give us some feedback. But let me just share with you some of the features that we have available for those evaluations. I've put those in two categories. On the left are the inner working capabilities, group calls between MC, PTT, and LMR for a variety of radio systems. Importantly, the ability to remotely select that channel or talk group, particularly if you're working with a donor radio, to be able to have that radio in one location and give an administrator or a dispatcher the access to select which channel or talk group it's tuned to. Catalyst has always recognized the importance of delivering every syllable in mission critical push to talk, and that is indeed a part of what we have built here. And so a variety of capabilities and features for interworking, including recording the audio from mission critical push to talk LTE calls, as well as the LMR calls, along with the metadata, the unit ID, the emergency, et cetera. On the right side are the capabilities for dispatch. And again, public safety's requirements emphasized you've got to have a dispatch console for mission critical push to talk over a cellular system. And so the approach that we have taken has created a seamless unification of LMR and LTE into a single application to make it really easy, intuitive for dispatchers to participate, to manage not only group calls, but private calls, to have advanced functionality like location, that is GPS, to get the caller ID, the emergency, and to do that in a way that is provided in a true public safety grade console with capabilities that are important to public safety, like multiple speakers with select audio and unselect audio. There are a lot of benefits to the approach that we have taken. First is multi-vendor, not only on the LMR side, working with a variety of vendors, but on the MC-PTT server side, we're working with a number of different manufacturers of those servers. We're supporting multiple carriers and hearing from public safety officials and other customers that they want to be able to use multiple carriers for their MC-PTT communications. We also hear from our public safety friends that local control is so important. And so we have architected this in a way that allows agencies that want to own all of that equipment themselves, license all that software to have it within their control so that their management, their administration can decide who's going to get connected and who's not going to get connected. And if they so choose, if the administration so chooses to delegate that down to each dispatcher, to give the dispatcher control on a moment's notice, to be able to create interworking between particular talk groups on the LMR and the LTE side, and to disconnect those when they need to be disconnected. So this approach, I'd emphasize, doesn't require a forklift of your existing radio system. It doesn't require major changes to it. It's really a very cost-effective addition to what you have today, and it's something that you could deploy today. I hope that some of you have had a chance to see the solution that we've provided for those at IWCE today. We had the system up on the show floor, and tomorrow in the second session, second day of IWCE, I invite folks to come and see the solution. For folks who are viewing this remotely, please get in touch with Catalyst. We'd be happy to arrange a demonstration either virtually for you or in person. But let me just walk through briefly what's part of the demonstration at the IWCE trade show. So on the left, you'll see a couple of LMR portable radios, speaking P25, but also other protocols. I've got two mobile radios, donor radios, you could call them. The first one is multi-band, multi-mode. The second one from a different manufacturer, single band, multi-mode, connected into our product, our IntelliLink interworking server, and then connected using that client interface to Ericsson's MC-PTT servers off in a cloud. And on the far right, you'll see a couple of hardened cell phones from Sonam running an MC-PTT app and connected via LTE back to the Ericsson MC-PTT servers. At the top is the Catalyst dispatch console that can be used to manage interworking and also to provide dispatch functionality. So that concludes my remarks, and I appreciate you tuning in to learn more about what Catalyst has done under the sponsorship of U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Department of Commerce, PSER. I encourage you to reach out to us for demonstration or for additional information. Thank you.